Hi, my name is Bettina and I'm 11 years old. I'm a student from grade 6A. Today I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about our project. It all started with a question. When we think about scientists, what comes in our head? We drew our ideas. Then we looked at our drawings the way researchers look at data. And we realized that many of us still imagine science as something distant. One person alone in a lab searching for the right answer.
Então, a gente fez os desenhos, a gente analisou os dados, a gente criou gráficos e com isso a gente discutiu em sala de aula. Quem são esses cientistas? Qual é a visão de cientista do sexto ano?
Through this research, we created our own products, such as games and science communication webs.
Depois que a gente fez todo esse processo de tentar quebrar essa visão estereotipada, a gente ainda trouxe a professora Roberta para fazer uma atividade interdisciplinar de discutir, criar biografias, criar jogos de cientistas diferentes.
Nas aulas de língua portuguesa, nós estudamos o gênero da biografia. A partir disso, nós estudamos homens e mulheres cientistas que nos ajudam a entender que não existe apenas um perfil de cientistas.
Essa parceria interdisciplinar, em que a gente cruza os conhecimentos de cada uma das disciplinas, é bastante interessante porque nos ajuda também a alinhar o projeto a partir do interesse e da curiosidade que as próprias crianças trazem para nós na sala de aula. Então, à medida que a gente foi discutindo quem são os cientistas e como a ciência está presente no nosso dia a dia, as crianças também foram se apropriando dessa informação e trazendo novas perguntas e novos questionamentos para o andamento do projeto.
But researching scientists was still not enough. We wanted to understand science from the inside. We needed to listen to people who truly live this process. So, we created questions for Brazilian researchers. We wanted to know how a research project begins, how they deal with doubt, what role evidence plays in discoveries, and how science can impact society.
Então a gente começou a construir o nosso projeto. Vamos então trazer convidadas? Eu tenho alguém que é próximo da minha família, eu conheço alguém, aí a gente foi entrando em contato e a gente trouxe duas referências muito legais, que foi a Esther Sabino e foi a Natália Mota, para conversar com eles.
Nós, do sexto ano, conhecemos cientistas reais. No caso, duas, que é a Esther Sabino e a Natália Mota. A gente preparou várias perguntas pra elas e a gente percebeu que são pessoas reais. Tipo o Einstein. O Einstein tá, muito longe da gente. Então, a Esther Sabino e a Natália Mota conseguiram provar pra gente. E também tem pessoas que são cientistas muito próximas da gente. Tipo, a Esther Sabino é minha prima de segundo grau.
After investigating what science is and talking to scientists, a new question emerged. How could we practice science responsibly?
E ao longo do meu projeto de Ciências Naturais, a escola fez uma parceria com uma escola de Nova York. Nesse projeto, trocamos dados, trocamos vídeos e fizemos uma assembleia.
Então a gente expandiu. A gente conseguiu esse projeto porque somos escolas Apple Distinguished. Então a gente tem coletado os dados juntos. A gente tinha uma pergunta para eles tinham uma pergunta pra gente. E aí a gente foi atrás dos dados, a gente coletou dados por um mês. Eles também coletaram dados por um mês.
We investigated whether the weather our region was behaving as expected, or whether we were noticing unusual changes. The students in New York investigated how the amount of sunlight changed over time. For about a month, we collected real data: temperature, thermal sensation, weather conditions, images of the environment, and family interviews. This data did not come from a book. They were produced by us and by students from another community. That made our responsibility greater, because other people would use what we recorded to compare, interpret, and learn. We also created videos to present our school, our culture, and our questions. We wanted the students in New York to understand our contexts, just as we wanted to understand theirs. The culmination was an online assembly led by learner ambassadors from both countries. We presented our findings, answered questions, and discussed similarities and differences between our geographical, climatic, and cultural contexts.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been invaluable. My students have grown so much through this whole process. Putting this together for them really, really was amazing. It was great for me to see the excitement in kids. Everybody wanted to participate. Everybody wanted to be part of the videos. They all wanted to do something, and everyone had a role. I could tell that it was exciting for them because when they would come to class every day, they couldn't wait until it was their turn. And I think the best part of it for me was how they didn't ask, "Is this graded?" So I get that a lot, and we get that a lot here where kids ask if something is graded. And this was to do this activity for the love of learning and participating in something larger than they are. So it was just quite an incredible experience.
Looking back, we realized that this project was not a sequence of activities. Each step opened the next question. First, we investigated our own image of science. Then, we looked for real scientists. After that, we practiced scientific methods. Then, we communicated science to our community. Finally, we produced data with students from another hemisphere. What changed was the way we think. We started by drawing scientists. Then, we started acting like scientists.